Hello and welcome to Agrestal Vestige, where we are vested in all things Agrestal. My name is Tom. I'm here with you again this week for another blended Scotch whiskey review. And this week we have an old, well-known, been around a long time, blended Scotch whiskey, black and white. So let's get a little bit of this in the glass. And this is bottled at 40%. And I'll get into the details on that just a little later. Let's look at that. It's a nice color. It's not too dark. It's not too orangey. So, black and white. It's fairly common most places. You can find around the world, at least in the United Kingdom and America, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. I know those places. Mainland Europe in places. Anyway, let's see what we have here. Black and white is a very simple type of Scotch. It's not very complex. It's not overly robust. But it's a well-made, long-standing, simple, workingman's type Scotch. So, in saying that, on the nose you get initially a light type citrus. General citrus, nothing specific, but just a light citrusy type note. You get a bit of that malted grain. A bit of toffee. A little bit of acidicness, like, that astringency type nose that you get on a lot of grain-rich whiskeys. You're getting a little bit of banana, a little bit of peach, and just a wee hint in the background of peat. On the taste, you definitely get honey. You get some milk chocolate, a touch of nutmeg, it's like heavily brewed English breakfast tea. There's quite a distinctive note there. Followed just behind, you're getting a bit of spearmint. That banana is coming through again. Slightly fudgy. Slightly milk chocolatey, fudgy type note to it. I mean, it is a simple Scotch, but it does have lots of passing flavor notes in it. Now, since this is bottled at 40%, I wouldn't add too much water, but I'm going to add a couple of milliliters just to kind of knock off some of the alcohol to see what we get. I'm going to gently roll it around the glass so we can get a nice surface covering and see if the alcohol can start letting off a little flavors. Anyway, as you well know, and I've mentioned it many times before, that you always want to look and give preferential notice to Scotch whiskies that are in green bottles, especially green bottles. Even above the brown and all that, even though that does count. But the green bottles, for some reason, always means less colorant. They don't tend to color the whiskey, or if they do, not as much to give it that orangey, brownish type glow that the general public seem to think is indicative of quality, tasty whiskey, which it typically usually isn't. But anyway, as you can see, that's a lovely color. It's not much of that caramelly 150A in there, if any at all, and that's a positive sign. And you'll find that you got VAT 69. That's another good example of that. There are various whiskeys. Grand Old Par, that's not only in a green bottle, but that's another one that's in a brown bottle that's not very heavily colored. Cutty Sark is another one. But the black and white, they've had this look for a long time. And the way they got the name was Mr. Buchanan, who originally come up with this, was hustling his wares, so to speak, and he got his scotch in the membership or the member area, the member bar of the House of Commons in Britain. And he didn't have a name for it, he just had his whiskey in there, and it became rather popular, and everybody was asking for it. Give me some of that black and white, give me some of that black and white, because at the time he had a generic label on it. It was just simply black and white. And so he said, well, I've got to capitalize on this, and so I should name it black and white. And so what should I have as a logo? And after he named it black and white, he come up with the little Scottish Terriers. And I think they're known as Fanny and Bobby. And there you go. Black and white whiskey was born. And you can go into pubs and bars all around, especially years ago, not so much now, but the old ashtrays, the just a lot of the stuff that was laying around advertising black and white whiskey. You don't see it as much anymore, but you used to see it all the time. It was very popular. But that's a little bit of backstory about black and white. After the water has been added, after the water's been added, just only 2 milliliters, mind you, you're starting to get this piney type pine needle note coming out. A little bit of pear and a little bit of melon that you did not have before. The vanilla, it's still there, it's still distinctly there. I wouldn't say prominent, but it's there. That's about the only change I've noticed between before and after the water on the palate. It's a lot sweeter now after the water, and it's also distinctly creamier. It's just nice and whipped creamy-ish on the tongue, the mouthfeel of it after the water. You're getting some grassy notes. You're getting some green apple notes. But it's that sweetness, that wasn't there before, that's coming through, that you're beginning to notice now. As far as the finish, it's fairly short. the arrival, development, finish. It's fairly balanced, but it's just there and gone. It's a brief, enjoyable experience. But it is enjoyable. It's nothing harsh to it. Initially, I thought, it had that astringent type smell. A lot of times you get that on real grain rich whiskeys that have not been matured properly or even distilled properly, or too fast really. And you'll get that real ethanolic burn. This doesn't have that at all. It's very nice, very balanced, very enjoyable really. I mean, for the price point of this whiskey, I mean, this is a larger bottle, but most average 700 ml bottles are, I've seen them for $20 to $25, pounds, euros. So it's not that expensive at all, and it's something you can enjoy with some degree of regularity. That's not going to break the wallet, so to speak. But with it being probably chill filtered, and I don't think there's color in here. If it is, it's little. And with the profile being simple but yet hearty, I think it's a lovely whiskey. You are getting slightly more. I mean, it's not a peated whiskey at all, but you are getting a little bit more of that peat after the water coming a little bit forward. But it's a very distant note. But it's nice. It's kind of, well, after the water, if there's a peat in there, it's probably Kalila, something like that. Nice, traditional, old-fashioned, simple, blended Scotch whiskey. Marks out of 100 for black and white. I would firmly give it an 86. I think it justifies that, because I enjoy this from time to time, and always have great pleasure when I come back to it, even though it's infrequent. But that's it for today's whiskey review. Fairly short, sweet, simple, straightforward, like the whiskey. Anyway, like and subscribe and all that. And until next time, this is Tom. Bye-bye.